growing in grace, part of our spiritual. We need that. I was kidding someone. I said, bumping elbows don't even get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's more to than
Right.
I have to go to church. No, I get to go and fellowship with the. You don't realize how important that is
Yes.
till you miss it.
Right.
You know, and the last few weeks
We've missed it.
we've missed it. There ain't no two ways about it. You know, so. And but yeah, that's just part of it. That's the sweetness of being a Christian. And even if you're going through some hard times, you find out that somebody else is going probably worse times than you. Whereas if you're holed up at home having a pity party, like I was telling you not too long ago, you know, well, I'm not, and you realize you're not the only one, but we need one another.
Yes, absolutely.
We need one another, fellowship.
I was thinking about, too, you know, someone said you can't live in the past, but you need to look at the past.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, times like this that we can reminisce and remind ourselves, because what both of us saw in Brother Gwinn paved the way for me and a lot of young men is, you know, we saw God work and answer prayers in their life that bolstered our faith. You know, because sometimes when you're young, you may have personal challenges or things, but not in the realm that these men were dealing with in the, you know, the pastorate and the leadership of their works. And, you know, you watch their faith. And, you know, the Bible uses that phrase, you know, talking about, you know, your pastor and men of God. It says whose faith followed. And, you know, and the example of it, you know, and we talked last night and the question was asked about, you know, raising our children. And people have often asked me, in fact, as I've had a few guys through the years call me and say, you know, what did your dad do? And I would say to them, you know, I think the thing about what I attribute, I got saved when I was 12, and the thing that I really attribute, of course the Lord did the saving, but God was so real to my parents that I never doubted there was a God. You know, because I'd seen him answer too many prayers. I'd watched their lives, and, you know, they weren't perfect people, but, man, it was exciting to see, you know, them highlight what God had done in their life. And, you know, sometimes as parents, we tell all the negatives to our kids that's going on, and we forget when God answers the prayer to let our children know, hey, you know, we were going through a struggle, but look what God did. And I remember one incident in my senior year of college. I'd come home from school. I was in evangelism, which probably wasn't the brightest move to be in full-time evangelism while you're in your last year of college. And so as I was dealing with that, we ran out of groceries and we hadn't had any offerings, and, you know, it was kind of a slow time. And I saw my dad that day at college, and he asked the question, he said, you know, how you doing? Well, we just passed in the hallway, and I said, I'm doing fine. Well, what I wanted to say is we're broke and we have no milk for the baby, and, you know, can you lend me some money? And, but I told the Lord that day when I left the house, and Pam told me, she said, you know, this is it. There's nothing left. And I said, God, you know, I've watched you meet the need of my parents, and I need to show my children that the same God will take care of us. So I got a call when school was ending that I needed to go to my parents' house. And a young man from Rockford, Illinois, his pastor, Brother Billy Robertson, who became a dear friend of mine, but I'd never preached for him at that time. A young man from their church called. He said, I need to meet your parents. He didn't know where I lived at, so he knew where my parents' house was at. And I got there, and he said Sunday, the week before, or that few days before, his preacher had told him that the Lord laid on his heart to take up a food, called it a shower for the Grahams. And he said he told the Lord, well, you know, Brother Graham's in his dad's church. They're probably taking care of anything he needs. And the Lord said, no, you get your church to take up some groceries. So they did. Well, that young man pulled up there, and I had a 79 Chevy Impala, and unloaded the groceries he brought, filled the trunk of my car, and filled the back seat of my car, filled the floorboard, and I had to put one sack in the front. I stopped and picked up my son Ben. He was about 14 months old, and maybe a little older, and put him in a seat. And I said, buddy, you won't remember this, but I want you to know the same God that took care of my mom and dad
Yes, sir.
has taken care of you.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, and I want you to know we serve a God that's real.
Amen.
And had a little camp meeting in the car. But you know, those were times that God really built my faith, that he would be faithful. And it was the example of my dad and Brother Gwinn that played a large part in that.